of your own personal services corporation. You are the president of an entrepreneurial organization of one, selling your services to your current employer and receiving fees in the form of a salary or commission for the value and results of what you do. You are, in fact, on your own payroll. You are your own boss. Over the long term, you determine the size of your own paycheck. If you're not happy with the amount you're earning, you can go and find a mirror and negotiate with your boss for an increase. It's your investment in your knowledge and skills and your application of that knowledge and those skills that determines how much you receive, and you can increase your knowledge and skills virtually without limit over time. As the president of your own personal services corporation, you are in charge of finance, production, marketing, quality control, and distribution. You're also in charge of R&D, of continually upgrading the quality and quantity of the products you are offering to your particular market. You're in charge of your own training department as well. As the president of your own company, you should have an ongoing personal and professional development program. Each month, each quarter, each year, you should have a learning project. Just as you make out a plan for a vacation or a trip to the supermarket, you should have a plan for what you need to learn and how you're going to learn it. You should allocate a certain amount of money and a certain number of hours each day, each week, each month to learn what you need to learn so that you can achieve the goals that you want to achieve. The central purpose of this entire audio cassette program is to show you how to learn those things you need to learn far faster and easier than ever before. From now on, by the way, when someone asks you what you do, you can tell them proudly, "I'm the president of my own company." When they say that they thought you worked for ABC Corporation, you can say confidently, "Yes, they're my best client." Remember, your current employer is merely your best client at the moment. You've not always worked for your existing client, and you will not always work for your existing client, but you will always work for yourself. You are the president of your own personal services corporation, and you are paid in direct proportion to the value of your services from the time you take your first job until the time you retire. And this is not optional. It's mandatory. It's not an idea where you have a choice. It's a fact, like the rain or the weather. And the sooner you accept it, the sooner you begin moving to the front in the information age. Today there are a series of buzzwords that are being used by companies everywhere. You can't turn around without hearing what I call the 7 R's. The 7 R's are: first, reorganization. This means moving people and resources around in a company so that they produce more and better products and services. Second, there is restructuring. This means moving more resources to areas where they contribute greater value to the customer and discontinuing activities that customers are not willing to pay for. Third, companies are practicing re-engineering in a major way. Re-engineering is based on process analysis and the downsizing, eliminating, or outsourcing of lower value activities so that it takes fewer inputs to achieve the same level of outputs. Fourth, companies are reinventing themselves. They're continually looking at what they would do if they were starting over again today. They are looking into the future and determining what they have to do today in order to be a successful, profitable company 5 years from now. Fifth, companies are going through re-evaluation. They are looking at everything they can do to decide if this is the real business they want to be in. Sixth, companies are engaging in refocusing. Refocusing means concentrating their time, activities, and resources on the few things that they can do in an excellent fashion in a competitive marketplace. And finally, number 7, companies are determined to regain control of their financial destinies by becoming proactive and by making clear, specific decisions about what business they are really in and the direction in which they are going. Now, whenever you hear about companies going through the 7 big R's, you must remember that you are the president of your own company as well. The 7 R's apply to you personally, just as they apply to corporations. You must be continually reorganizing yourself and your activities to focus on higher priority tasks. You must be restructuring what you do so that you are doing more of the things that contribute the greatest value to your current client and customers. You must be re-engineering your activities, continuously outsourcing, downsizing, and eliminating certain activities so that you can spend more time producing more of the things that make more of a difference in your life, both personally and professionally. You should be reinventing yourself every 6 months, continually thinking about what you want to do and be when you grow up. What is your next job going to be? What is your next career going to be? What do you have to change in your current world in order to be ready for the world of tomorrow? As an individual, you must constantly be re-evaluating yourself and every part of your life, recognizing that whatever the future may hold, it will be radically different from the present. You also need to be refocusing your mental, physical, and emotional energies on those parts of your life, both your family life and your work life, that are really important to you. Finally, as a result of applying the first 6 R's, you will have the experience of regaining control. You will feel that you are more in charge of your life rather than being battered around by the storms of fate and destiny. You will feel that you are a change master and that you are capable of learning the things you need to learn to achieve the financial security you want to accomplish. The deepest human need, according to psychologists, is the need for security, for a feeling of being secure physically, financially, and emotionally. Our greatest fear is to be deprived of our security. We fear failure, loss, criticism, embarrassment, disapproval, and so on, because they make us feel insecure and incapable of controlling our own lives and our own futures. In the world of rapid change that we're experiencing today, fears of insecurity are at an all-time high. Every change in the economy or new piece of technology that causes a change in our work or our lives makes us feel anxious and worried because we don't know what effect it's going to have on our feelings of happiness, well-being, and security. This is the primary reason why we fear change. We're afraid that we will be worse off after an unexpected and unpredicted change than we were before. This is also why we resist change. We think that if we fight the change, we will somehow be safer and more secure doing things the old way. But of course, this is a fool's game. There's no security in adhering to the old ways. The only security you can ever have is your ability to do a job uncommonly well. And what is required to do your job uncommonly well is changing and moving ahead every day. The way to achieve the lifelong security, high income, success, and prestige that you desire is to keep learning more about what you are doing so that you stay ahead of the curve rather than by being bowled over by the wave of change. Accelerated learning techniques are the tools you use to achieve your goals faster and with greater certainty than you ever could without them. Whenever you think about the things you want in life, in your personal life, your financial life, your career, your material accomplishments, like your home or car, your health, your family, your contribution to society, and so on, you realize that there's a gap between where you are and where you want to be. In fact, with regard to achievement, you are in the business of what is called gap analysis. Your job is to decide where you are and to decide where you want to go. You then analyze the gap between your current situation and your future desired situation, and you decide how to fill that gap. Once you've clearly defined a goal, you begin by asking yourself, what is holding me back from achieving my goal right now? What factors determine whether or not you achieve it in 1 week, 1 month, or 1 year? In other words, how do you bridge the gap between your current reality and your desired reality? In almost every case, you will find that your bridging materials are knowledge and skill. In order to get from where you are to where you want to go, you have to learn and practice something new and different. You have to learn new skills and abilities. You have to learn new attitudes and methods. You have to learn new techniques and practices. If you want to be a better parent, you must learn and practice better parenting skills. If you want to be a better spouse, you must study and practice relationship skills. If you want to earn more money, you have to determine what it is that people will pay more money for, and then get busy learning and practicing those behaviors. Harvard University's studies on motivation some years ago found that the experience of personal growth is one of the best of all motivators. When you feel yourself learning and growing and becoming more capable and competent, you get a natural high. You feel happy and exhilarated. You feel positive and excited about your life and your future. On the other hand, when people stop growing as the result of no longer learning new things, they begin to stagnate mentally. People who have stopped growing are far more prone to negativity, pessimism, fears, doubts, and anxiety. And you can throw these all off by deciding what it is you need to learn and by putting your whole heart into learning those things you need in a rapid, enjoyable way, as you'll discover in the sessions ahead. The good news, by the way, is that you are already an excellent learner. You have already learned thousands of things, starting from infancy. By the time you were 6 years old, you had learned to recognize and use more than 5,000 words with ease. You've learned tremendous social skills. You've learned how to play a variety of sports, to ride a bicycle, drive a car, be a husband or a wife, and how to sell, manage, negotiate, motivate, communicate, and interact with hundreds and even thousands of different people. In fact, as you will learn in the next session, you are actually a brilliant human being. You have mental capacities that are far beyond anything that you have ever imagined. Accelerated learning does not require that you become something more or different than what you are. It simply shows you how to become far more of what you are already capable of becoming by extending what you have already been doing naturally all your life to learn the things that you have needed and wanted to learn. Like myself, many people have had negative experiences going to school. Because the way of teaching was not consistent with your individual way of learning, you may have had difficulties with various subjects. You may have experienced underachievement and even failure. You may have experienced negative comparisons with others who were getting excellent grades while you were struggling just to get by in your classes. You may have gone through the agony of poor report cards, failed tests and examinations, repetition of classes and courses, and a general feeling of inferiority when it came to learning new subjects. Well, you're not alone. This just happens to describe the school experiences of about 70 to 80% of the population. Fortunately, we've learned more in the last 15 years about how the brain functions and how to learn well than we have learned in all of human history. And what we know is that our current methods of teaching by no means fit in with what we know about how the brain really works. They work for only a small number of students, and they leave the rest of the students undereducated and undermotivated. No wonder that most people leave school determined never to submit themselves to that sort of learning situation again. However, with accelerated learning, it's all different. When you practice accelerated learning techniques and learn the way you are uniquely designed to learn, you will be able to absorb and retain huge quantities of information. You will amaze yourself and everyone around you. In closing this session, here are the 6 principles upon which this course, and perhaps the whole rest of your life, is built. First, as I said before, you can learn anything you need to learn to accomplish any goal you want to accomplish, to become any person you want to become. There are no limits. Second, learning how to learn is the key ability, the core competence that makes everything else possible for you for the rest of your life. Third, anyone can learn faster, better, and easier than ever before by discovering how their brain and how their intelligences work, and then by structuring new information so that they can absorb it easily and well. Fourth, your intelligence is not fixed. Intelligence is like a muscle. It can be made to grow with use. This means that you can become far smarter and more mentally acute than you are today simply by engaging in the mental exercises that you will learn in this course. Fifth, to earn more, you must learn more. And since there's no limit on how much you can learn in your field or in any other field, there's virtually no limit on how much you can ultimately earn as well. And finally, number 6 is that you can achieve almost any goal, solve almost any problem, and overcome almost any obstacle in your life by acquiring the necessary knowledge and skill required by that particular situation. There are virtually no limits. The benefits you will enjoy in terms of greater income, greater security, greater prestige, more rapid advancement and promotability, greater self-confidence, and a greater feeling of power and control over your life are tremendous. Learning how to learn rapidly and well is the key to accomplishing any goal you could ever set for yourself. Specific knowledge and skills will become obsolete with the passing of time, but learning how to learn is a permanent skill that you can use all the days of your life. The people who learn how to learn faster, earlier, like those people who learn how to operate the first computers or learn how to become excellent in their fields before others, will be able to earn more in 1 or 2 years of work than the average person earns in 5 or 10 years. Accelerated learning techniques will enhance every area of your life. You'll be able to help your spouse and your children unlock and realize more of their individual potentials as well. You'll be a better friend in helping your friends to utilize more of their abilities. You'll be a better manager and develop the skills to get far more out of other people than ever before as well. Above all, in the sessions ahead, you will learn a new system for enhancing and enriching everything you do for all the years of your life. Now come with me, and in the next session I will show you why and how you are a potential genius.